Jon Jones is the greatest MMA fighter of all time. In fact, it's true. Jones is the GOAT of the UFC and the best pound-for-pound MMA fighter ever. There have been many great UFC fighters, names like Khabib Nurmagomedov, George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva, and Chuck Liddell, but none of them are better than the great Jon Bone Jones. When he retired in 2025, he had a record of 28-1 with 11 knockouts and 7 submissions. He defended his title multiple times, won belts in 2 different weight classes, became the youngest UFC champion in history, and was Dana White's golden boy. Bones beat many legends and ended by knocking out Stipe Miocic in his final fight. He was unreal. However, like so many professional athletes, Jones comes with a lot of baggage. He had multiple failed drug tests, hit-and-run charges, and countless suspensions. He's been stripped of titles more times than some champs have even defended theirs. And yet, despite all of that, he only ever lost once. And that was a disqualification in a fight he was dominating against Matt Hamill in 2009. Imagine how untouchable his resume would have been if he stayed clean. This is the complicated legacy of the greatest UFC fighter of all time. Jones started his journey wrestling during his high school days, where he also excelled in football. His nickname Bones came from a high school coach who gave it to him because of his skinny frame. After high school, Jones attended Iowa Wesleyan Community College and won a championship. He ended up transferring to Morrisville State before dropping out to begin his MMA career. Jones made his pro MMA debut in early 2008, and within just 3 months, he had gone 6-0. He finished all of his opponents and made it look easy. Before jumping to the UFC, Jones won the US KBA Light Heavyweight Championship at BCX5 by defeating Moses Gabin via second-round TKO. Just like that, in under a year, he was in the UFC. He'd go on to stay in the UFC for the next 16 years. Jones made an immediate impact. He won his first 3 fights against top-level competition. His early success caught Dana White's eye, and Jones signed a 4-fight deal with the UFC. Then came his only official loss, a disqualification against Matt Hamill for illegal 12-6 elbows in 2009. From there, absolute dominance. Jones won his next 20 fights, defended his light heavyweight title 8 times, and was eventually stripped, only to win it back by knocking out Alexander Gustafsson in the 3rd round in 2018. Before moving up to heavyweight, he defended his belt 3 more times. In 2023, Jones made the leap to heavyweight and accepted a title fight against French striker Cyril Gane. Despite being out of the octagon for over 3 years, Jones wasted absolutely no time. He took Gane down and choked him in just 2 minutes. Just like that, Jon Jones was back on top. For a long time, fans hoped for a showdown with former heavyweight champ Francis Ngannou. Sadly, that never happened due to a contract dispute between Ngannou and Dana White. Jones' last fight came in November of 2024 when he took on Stipe Miocic. Miocic gave him a fight, but in the end, Bones got the 3rd round knockout. Inside the cage, his resume is nearly flawless. But outside of it, unfortunately, a much darker story. In 2012, just after becoming the youngest UFC champ, Jones was arrested for a DUI after crashing his Bentley into a pole in New York. It was the first major blemish, and not the last. 3 years later, in 2015, he hit rock bottom. Jones was involved in a hit-and-run in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He ran a red light, struck a pregnant woman's car, and fled the scene. Police found marijuana and a pipe in the vehicle. He was stripped of his title and suspended indefinitely, later receiving 18 months of probation. Jones tested positive for some banned substances. He blamed it on contaminated sexual enhancement pill and was suspended for 1 year by the USADA. In 2017, after defeating DC in a highly anticipated rematch, Jones once again tested positive again, this time steroid. The win was overturned and he was stripped of his title once again. He would go on to serve a 15-month suspension. In 2019, before UFC 232, drug tests revealed trace amounts of Turinabol still in his system. The Nevada State Athletic Commission refused to license him, forcing the UFC to move the event to California on just a 6-day notice. In March 2020, Jones was arrested again, this time for an aggravated DWI, negligent firearm use, and open container possession. He admitted he was out driving drunk and bored during the COVID lockdown. Then in 2021, just hours after being inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame, Jones was arrested in Las Vegas for an alleged battery, domestic violence, and tampering with a vehicle. Body cam footage showed agitated Jones, but the charges were dropped through a plea deal. Jon Jones is one of the most gifted fighters the sport has ever seen, but every highlight reel finish, there's a mugshot. Every comeback is shadowed by controversy. Whether you call him the GOAT or a cautionary tale, one thing is certain: his legacy is very, very complicated. But how did he rebound in 2023? Well, that's another story entirely. After 3 years away with arrests, drug tests, and suspensions behind him, most people thought Jon Jones was finished. But at UFC 285, he returned not as a light heavyweight, but as a heavyweight. Bigger, stronger, and still absolutely dominant. His opponent, Cyril Gane, a dangerous, powerful striker. Fans expected a war, but they got a massacre. Jones took Gane down, locked in a guillotine, and made him tap in just 2 minutes. That fast. That easy. With the win, Jones became the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion, a 2-division champ, a 3-year layoff, no warm-up fight, and he still looked untouchable. If Jones had fought a few more times, he likely would have been the favorite every single time. Unlike most legends who overstay their welcome, Jones did not. He retired on top, and if he ever does return, he'll probably still be the betting favorite. Despite everything outside the cage, Jones proved in 2023 that greatness can rise again. That everyone, no matter how far they've fallen, can make a comeback. So what do you think? Is Jon Jones the greatest MMA fighter of all time? Let us know in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.